Is the American dream just one big, massive illusion? We live in a point in time where, as someone who's raised by an immigrant father, I've realized that this point in America is so fascinating because we're no longer in the 20th century, the 19th century, where there's massive industrialism or the potential to expand America with the railroad system, or the industrial revolution, with all of the things that were going on at that point in time that actually made America seem like the place to be. Now, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of other countries that you could go and live that would be absolutely amazing, and like, people who are in those countries would think America is absolutely amazing. But when you really break it down to how we're operating now, the cost of living, the debt, and so many different circumstances where it makes America no longer what it used to be, it kind of poses the question as to whether or not all of this shit is just a facade, a dream. Because why do you have so many Canadians, especially when I travel and go to Mexico and stuff, like there's so many Canadians, so many people in America who are just completely fucking retired, or they're constantly traveling because they don't want to do the corporate grind anymore. And I honestly love that trend. Like, why would you want to go work in an office for 40 years and work for a corporation that doesn't care about your health, and if you die tomorrow they would replace you, when you could go live in a country for a lower cost of living, obviously still respect the people, the land, the culture, and not try and gentrify it, give back in some way, shape, or form. But like, why would you give your life to a system that is immaterial and does not care about your existence truly, and will never really fulfill you unless you really go through a process of self-discovery and introspection and then find a career that aligns with that? But let's be honest, how many people are doing that? How many people are taught that in school, and you have to go through some midlife crisis in order to figure out that the thing that you spent your whole life doing and spending tens of thousands of dollars to go into student loan debt for is never going to fulfill you, and is actually tearing away at your soul and leading you to this existential crisis where you realized all of the money and all of the status and all of the accolades that you pedestalized aren't worth jack shit. So that's why there's this trend of even younger people starting to wake up now, because we have access to the internet, and we're seeing all these older people like, oh, fuck no, bro. If I was broken down bad and on my last knee, I would probably just figure out how to make a couple $1,000s online and go live, volunteer at a fucking hostel, go live on the beach, go live at a lower cost of living. I wouldn't want to sit there and have to fight and buy a home and save up and put all my money into a bank account and shit. I just put that shit in Bitcoin and go to El Salvador, or go to fucking somewhere else that's not constantly, where you always feel like your whole worth is based on what economic output you create. And this is a trap that a lot of people is, even though I'm an entrepreneur and I like business and shit like that, there's still a certain point in the back of my head where it's always telling me, like, this voice is like, yo, look, whether you hit those numbers or not, or whether you do whatever you want, whether you achieve that accolade, there's more to life. And I really believe, like, if I ever got rich, I would take all that money and invest in things that are much, much more deeper to me than just, the bottom line, or getting a ROAS, or what subscriber count went up, or, how much money's in the bank account. I would want to look at, the nature of reality, how our human body works, quantum biology, things about like sunlight, moonlight, green light, the way animals interact with one another, the way like, those are the things that I think should be the foundation of our knowledge as a society.